Hey, everyone. Welcome back to, or welcome to, your first-time listener of the podcast. We've been talking about this episode for several minutes now, so I feel like you and I are already into it. And then there's a reminder that we have to start over because now it's not just the two of us talking. It's us talking to all of you on YouTube and on podcasts. So, okay, welcome, everybody. Today, we're talking about mindset shifts. And these are the mindset shifts that I think almost all of us need to hear, or maybe we know some of these that I'm going to go through. Well, we need to be reminded of them. I know I need to be reminded of switching my mindset around. So we're going to go through the biggest ones and the most important ones. Okay. Reminders for all of you. And we're making this a two-parter. That's what we were talking about before we started recording, because I can't get through all of these in one episode, because what we find is that we're 45 minutes in and I still have so much more I want to share with all of you. So this will be part one about what are the mindset shifts that most of us need to hear. And then part two is going to be your power moves or your moves to change it up. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Mindset. That is a term that is being used all the time now. It's such an interesting study in the coaching industry, especially on social media and in podcasts. Everybody in the past 5-6 years, maybe a little bit longer, is talking about mindset, change your mindset. And it was a term that I didn't use that term 10 years ago. I would occasionally, rarely with my clients. There probably were other words I was using, but it's one that fits nicely into switching people's thinking around. And so it's one that I find that I use as well. But there are mindset coaches out there. Like, it's all they do is they coach on changing your mindset.
Yeah.
That's part of what I do every single day. I call myself a personal development coach. I know it can be confusing for all of you who are out there who are like, okay, here we go again, because there are a lot of different coaches out there. I talk about this all the time, and I get sometimes confused. So I understand why all of you are confused.
Well, mindset, it's kind of a mysterious word, right?
How so?
Well, I think because people are not really sure what that means.
Right.
You can use it. Use that in a sentence, right? Like, okay, and you can use it in a sentence like 12 different ways.
You could say to somebody, you need to change your mindset, and they may be going, okay, but inside they're going, I have no idea what he's talking about right now. It's true.
Right.
Like, I have no idea what that means.
Or you could use it in a sentence and it makes absolutely no sense. Right?
So it's mindset. It's the way you tend to think. I think of it as our default mode. My mindset does tend to run pessimistic. It was from my family of origin. It was the way I was raised. I was raised with parents who grew up very poor. And there was a lot of, I talked about this on the podcast, scarcity mindset, because money was scarce. Resources were scarce for my parents. My mother grew up one of 9 kids. They were poor. I mean, a few years ago I was home, and, my mom has dementia now, but then she has these moments of lucidity when she comes out of it. And I was home in the winter. My brother had made dinner. We were sitting around the table. I mean, she's like 86, 87 at this point, and she's saying something about winter vegetables. And my sister and I are looking at her going, what do you mean winter vegetables? And she said, well, these are the and I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, some rutabaga, something. And she said, these are the vegetables that we canned them. And I said, oh, did you like that, Mom? As a child, did you like, you brought the winter vegetables up from the cellar and you cooked them? She said, because in the winter they relied on their garden. There were no vegetables. And she goes, when you're hungry, you'll eat whatever is put in front of you.
Mm.
And I had never heard her say that before.
Yeah.
When you're hungry, you'll eat whatever is put in front of you. And I thought, wow, were we spoiled? And did we grow up privileged?
Totally.
My father was also a poor Italian immigrant. They were poor. And, I think as my grandmother, Nona, also had amazing gardens, but they had a knack for cooking. They knew how to cook. They knew how to take very little and turn it into something that was delicious. And my mother ended up adopting the Italian cuisine, and my Nona taught my mother how to cook, because my mother's English, my father's Italian. But they both grew up very poor, but I grew up listening to my father. It would make comments about scarcity, even though money wasn't scarce. My father became a very successful orthopedic surgeon in the Washington, D.C. area, did very well for himself. But it doesn't matter. Inside his mind, deep in his psychology, was a thinking about food is scarce, resources are scarce, hold on tight to it and be careful of it.
Yeah.
And you could lose it at any minute.
Well, there you go. Because there's a little bit of fear in there that like you could go backwards.
It could go away.
Yeah.
And I have that ingrained in me, and I have to change my mindset and talk myself out of when I go there. So my default, like many people, my default is to be pessimistic, and my default can be to be negative. Now, I've worked very, very hard on that in coaching over the years. So I don't do it as much, but I find that when I feel a lot of stress in my life and I have to make decisions, big decisions, not even so much around finances, but I have to make decisions, I will tend to go to, well, this is what's going to happen. I will catastrophize. And we've talked about this. You tell me you're catastrophizing. Stop catastrophizing. And I have to switch my mindset. So this episode is going to be the mindset shifts that I think most of us need to hear and need to be reminded of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could almost say that word backwards, right? Like set your mind.
Yeah. Set your mind right.
Reset your mind. Maybe.
Reset yourself. Yep.
Yeah.
Hit reset.
Yeah.
And I literally have to tell myself that inside. I'm like, Anna, hit reset. Hit reset. Come on. Like my brother-in-law used to say to his boys, when they were little, turn that frown upside down when they were upset. And it would be so annoying to them. But in a way, I think of it for myself, like turn that negative mindset, flip that script, flip the script.
Yeah.
Turn it upside down.
Right. Right.
Okay. All right. Let's get into it because there's a long list here, and one might resonate for you. Many of these might resonate for you, and just pay attention to it. Notice it within yourself as I'm speaking, and see what's coming up for you. Okay. And then in next week's episode, we'll talk about how you're going to move yourself out of it. All right. Okay. So number one, your feelings, they are information. They're not instruction. Very, very important one. Your feelings are information. So listen, pay attention to how you feel. Of course, always pay attention to how you feel. Your feelings, they're information to you, not instructions. So you can be anxious and you can still send that person that email. All right. You can have the hard conversation. And you feel like, and you can still have it. You feel like, I don't want to go to the gym. I'm feeling sore today. I'm feeling like I don't want to walk out in the cold weather. I'm feeling just blah. I feel like I want to stay home. And you can still go to the gym. All right. So the mindset shift a little bit is stop waiting to feel ready. You got to stop waiting to feel ready with everything. All of us. Stop. You're never going to, never say never. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't say never. You're probably not going to feel ready to start going into a calorie deficit if you need to lose weight. Yeah. Who feels like they want to do that? I feel like I want to not eat as much today. I feel like I don't want to have dessert. I feel like I don't want those chips and salsa. Well, yeah, you're not going to feel it. I don't feel it. I feel like I want to gorge myself on chips and tzatziki like I did last night.
You kind of did.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever.
It's okay.
I don't really care. That's fine for me right now. But if I was in a calorie deficit, I'd have to pay attention to that.
You would definitely listen to that differently.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what is a part of my weekly life is, working out 5 to 6 days a week, trying to aim more for 6. I don't feel like it's 6 days a week, everybody. And I'm sure you all don't either. I don't feel like it. And I still do it.
Yeah.
So this is also goes back to when I talk about doing hard things.
So when you look at this, we're not saying that the feelings are not a misread.
No, they're valid, right? And they're important.
They're valid, and they also shouldn't be your roadmap to the next move. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's always change your behavior, drag the feelings, right? Everyone, if you've listened to me, I've said that. That goes way back to my days in psych.
Yeah.
In inpatient psych with teenagers. I used to say it to them all the time because I learned it from my supervisor. Change your behavior, drag the feelings. I always think the dragging the feelings is like dragging your baby blanket or your toy as you're a child. Drag your blanket behind you like Linus with the Peanuts gang. Linus with his blanket. Change your behavior. Drag the feelings. If you just go by how you feel, there's not going to be any behavior change.
Right.
Okay, so your feelings are information. They're not instructions. Number 2, clarity comes most of us, clarity comes after action. Okay, so most people are trying to think their way into confidence, think their way into being more self-assured, right? Confidence, it's a byproduct of promises that you kept to yourself, right? It's not having this perfect insight, right? I mean, I have clarity. I have clarity. I'm waiting for clarity. I'm waiting for clarity. No, sometimes you can just be halfway, mezzo, halfway clear, or a quarter of the way clear. You still need to take action. You don't have to have full clarity in order to take action and make changes in your life.
And couldn't they both be true? I mean, you could have full clarity and it's accurate.
And if you do, wonderful, take
yeah.
action.
But you also could have like foggy clarity, right? Where you're really not really sure,
That's
right?
what I said.
What
Like
saying.
you can have
But I think they both could happen.
And that's fail forward.
Yeah.
So fail forward. You still got to take action.
Okay.
And it's usually after we take action that it's like, oh, I feel a little bit more confident. Okay, what am I clear about? Well, that didn't go perfectly because nothing's perfect. And I learned something from that. I learned what went well and I learned what didn't go well. I learned what I need to improve upon for next time.
Right. And maybe it's unclear and you don't take action and that affirms that you were right. Like maybe you were like the doubts that you were having because it was unclear. You're like, I don't know. And so you don't make that next move. And it turns out to be a good choice.
Right.
Right. And then the next time, like, I think that's in your head too.
Exactly.
Like, okay. Like clarity, like make sure you really drill down and assess, like, is this actual clarity or not?
Yeah. Because I coach, we talk about clarity as a common term. It's a subject we talk about quite a bit in coaching about finding clarity, having clarity. But my clients are working on making changes, behavioral changes, taking action weekly, and they're working towards clarity.
Yeah.
They don't have full clarity. And what's wonderful to see, and it doesn't happen for everybody, is at the end of our work together, they said, I'm very, very clear on this now. And in our work together, their work with me, Anna, they've come to this place of clarity, but they've had lots of fits and starts along the way. So we go back to the drawing board and we look at an issue, we look at a problem, and okay, that didn't work. Now, what about this? And, do you think that might help you? Is that the way? What do you want? What's the goal there?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, let's pivot and let's go down that road. Let's explore that. Let's make some changes in there. And it's usually towards more to the end when there's clarity.
Yeah. And I would think that would give you even more confidence.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. It does.
Like if you're unclear or you're not really sure if you're clear or not clear, and you make that move and it works out. Right. Doesn't that, like, your confidence, there has to be a different multiplier on there.
It just feels so good.
Yeah.
It's like a liberation inside ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Before we move on to the next number 3, I want to really ask you all well, first of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for rating and reviewing the podcast. It goes a long way. We've moved up into the 1.5% rankings, global rankings, which is a really big deal. My goal is to get this to 1%. My goal is to get this to like less than 1% in popularity podcast worldwide. So please rate, review if you haven't already. Share this episode, share the podcast with anybody who you think would find this of value. Okay. And, just want to really push that. And at the same time, thank all of you. And as always, if you want to work with me, really, you know how to find me, okay? And that can be in group coaching, that can be in individual coaching. And if you're in the state of Illinois, I can work with you in psychotherapy if you're looking for something that's deeper. That's psychotherapy, okay? So please, you know how to find me. It's easy. You can find me in the show notes. It's not hard, but take a minute, because this is what we have to do. Take a minute and reach out to me, and let's get on a call together.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we should say too, like you and I we are trying to make a push on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's been kind of one thing we've been like, okay, let's increase the awareness, increase the exposure.
Yeah. And like this on YouTube, everyone, if you're watching.
That's it. Like, I think it takes literally 2 seconds.
And if you want to see what I look like and Tim, and you want to see what I'm wearing each week, watch it on YouTube.
Dumb. That's so dumb.
My different colored shirt, sweater, top, whatever it is.
Okay.
All right. So next mindset shift that I think most of us need to hear is that discomfort, it's not a sign that you're doing it wrong. Of course, I'm going to say this because what do I always say? Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Discomfort, it's not a sign to you that you're doing anything wrong. All right. If you're growing, it should feel edgy. It should feel scratchy. It should feel like, oh, this is uncomfortable. That means you're growing. Okay. We don't grow when we sit in comfort. That's not where growth happens. Growth happens in the in between. Growth happens in the hard stuff.
Yeah.
This is an absolute statement. Always for all of us. That's how we grow. Okay. Yeah. The goal isn't comfort anyway. The goal is for you to reach capacity, to challenge yourself, to look for what's my capacity here. What am I capable of doing? Because we are capable of so much more than we realize and we think.
Yeah. And even if you find comfort, even if you find like what you believe your capacity is, like that's just a step on the big staircase, right? There's not, it's not the last step.
Right.
You're just rolling at that point.
Right. Okay. Next one. Your brain is not a court of law. I like this one so much. Your brain is not a court, or your brain is not the court of law. Your intrusive thoughts that you're having, which many of us have, some of us, our intrusive thoughts live rent-free in our head. The worst case scenarios that we're playing out in our minds and the self-criticism, ripping on ourselves inside ourselves, those are not facts. Remember that. Your intrusive thoughts, your worst case scenarios that you're playing out, your catastrophizing, which I just said, your self-criticism, they're not facts, all right? You need to treat your thoughts like they're headlines, but it's not evidence. So this is cognitive therapy. Look for the evidence. Look for the evidence of what you're thinking. And most of you are going to find that there's little to no evidence of your thoughts. There's little to no evidence of your catastrophizing a scenario.
Give us an example of this, like a real life one. I mean, not a real life,
okay.
but like just give us like, okay, with a client, this is what I'm talking about. So this we can like visualize.
We talked about this, I think, last week.
Yeah.
You get an email from your boss, hey, we need to talk. You get an email, you get a text from your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your good friend, anyone, we need to talk. Flips people out. There's catastrophizing. Oh, and your brain's going, I'm getting fired. She's going to yell at me. She's mad at me. What I do wrong? What I do wrong? What I do wrong? She's going to get, what? And we're terrified of that because our brain is telling us that what did you do? You effed up. What did you do? You're getting fired.
Yeah.
This person's going to let you have it. They're going to redo the riot act.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think any of us can think about a scenario in our lives where our brain becomes the court of law and we start to live in our heads and we can work ourselves up into like a figurative lather. I think about the racehorses who are lathering, sweating before the race. You see the white foam, that's sweat. They've worked themselves up into a lather because they know what they're about to do. We can work ourselves up into a lather of anxiety and stress because we're all up in our heads about the worst case scenario.
Yeah. And so take a relationship out of this real quick.
Right.
So to make it more of like a decision you have to make in life, right? And so, and I'm asking a question. I'm just wondering, like, so the decision, you're trying to like decide like which way to go with something, right? And so you're trying to figure out like, all right, if I pick this, that could go really bad for me, right? It's possible.
You projected it could
go, and
right.
you're kind of like stewing over that. Is that kind of what we're saying here? Like you're like, oh man, like don't go there with yourself. Stay on the positive of like, okay, if I make this decision, this is how it's going to go for me, right? And all the things that come from it might be challenging, but they're positive. I think you can
be in the neutral zone too. I think you could be neutral about it. I don't want you to be. And most of you, if this is resonating for you, and I think most of us, the people in my clinical experience and my practice, we tend to live in the negative. Most people don't just live in the positive. And if you do, sometimes we feel like it's like a toxic positivity, like, okay, right. I mean, there are people who I do know people who are wired towards, and they're not Pollyanna-ish, they're just wired towards a more positive frame of mind. I think there is a wiring for that. Their temperament is one of just peace and contentment and happiness. And the people I know who are like this tend to be very faith filled,
Yeah.
and they're just wonderful individuals, and they always look for the bright side. But I've also known people who are like that, and I think it's like fake. And when you are someone who lives in your head and can be negative, like I tend to be, I have no patience for that either. I get annoyed with the endlessly positive people.
Well, but
So, because I think it's not always realistic.
yeah.
But I think it's okay to be in the neutral zone.
Okay.
And so like something that does work for me in the beginning, I hated hearing this. I hated this phrase, and I'm curious what you all think. Um, this is the coaching world when people would say, "This is not happening." I would say, "This happened to me," and people say, "It's not happening to you, Anna. It's happening for you." I'm like, "Oh, shut up! Get out of here! It happened to me. Was it
Nice.
happening for me?" But I have come, so I really had a knee jerk reaction against it, and it was irritating to me.
Yeah.
Me with my negative mind. And I've learned to embrace that. It's been a hard one. This is a big mindset shift for me. I've really learned to embrace the mindset change in that, no, it's not happening to me, and Anna, it is happening for you. And what's happening for you, it's hard. It's like I said, it's scratchy and itchy. I don't want to sit with it. It's like I got like ants in my pants. Like I don't want this. And I've learned to get comfortable being uncomfortable and to sit with, what is this here to teach me? And that has been my mantra of 2025, and I'm still doing it. And hopefully will carry this throughout the rest of my life. What is this here to teach me? So when things go wrong, when things don't go the way I planned it to, when all the efforts in the world with my business are a fail and a true fail, get up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, just keep going. And what is it here to teach me? Because I can get real down real fast.
Right.
And I think a lot of you understand what I'm talking about with this.
Yeah.
What is it here to teach me? So this is happening for me. What is it here to teach me? What am I to learn from this? So that's been very helpful for me.
Yeah.
Been hard to accept though. Been really hard to accept.
I think of the classic, like the glass half full, half empty scenario.
Exactly.
Right. So it's like you're at work and there's a difficult situation that needs to be addressed or handled, right? And you've got different people involved in this, and you'll know in advance the ones that come to this conversation that are going to come with a glass that's half full.
Yes.
And the ones that are going to come to the conversation with
half empty
glass.
Yeah.
Now, we all know that even though you come with the half full glass, right? We all know that you've thought about this could go sideways, right? But you're choosing to present in a positive way. And I think that's very much appreciated by everybody else, because like you're the rock in the conversation. You're the one that people lean on, right? Because like, even though this could go sideways, you're going to embrace like the fact that it's not going to, and you're going to do everything in your power to make it go positive.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. The next one is boundaries. I'm going to talk about boundaries. Your boundaries, you probably know this already, and maybe some of you have already gotten here. Your boundaries are not mean. You're not being mean when you have boundaries in your life. It's just math, everyone. Okay. So every yes that you say when you have violated your own boundaries costs you something. Every yes. When it's been a violation, you don't really want to do something, but you've let somebody kind of step over their boundary zone and get into your zone. And you're like, ugh, I don't really want to be doing this. Why'd I say yes? It's just math, because it's costing you something. The shift, here's a shift for you. And I'm just going to give you a power move right now. I think it's important that you stop defending your boundaries to people in your life like it's some sort of moral argument. Don't defend your boundaries to your parents, your sister, your in-laws, maybe even your spouse, appropriately so. I mean, as appropriately needed, I should say. It's not a moral argument, right? It's just you. It's a resource decision. These are my internal resources. I'm having a boundary around this, so the boundary might be, we'll come for the weekend, but we're not coming for the entire weekend. We're going to come Saturday morning and we're leaving Sunday afternoon. We're not coming Friday night. We're not leaving Sunday at 10 p.m. It's a resource decision. I don't have the resources to stay that long because I can't do 48 hours with my family or my in-law family, for example. It's a resource decision, and it's not you being mean when they give you a hard time. Why are you leaving? Why are you leaving? Right?
Yeah. I mean, and it's gonna happen, right? Like you know it's gonna happen.
And it's funny, I've been on the other side of that. Like, I've been the parent who's like, "Why are you leaving? Why are you leaving right now?"
Right.
I have been that person. I've had to work on respecting my adult children's boundaries that they want to get home on a Sunday. If we want to have them stay later, then we need to start getting together on Saturday nights. But for Sunday dinners, everybody is starting to get into work mode. Like, people maybe will have a cocktail, maybe have a beer. People are having maybe a glass of wine, but everybody's like wants to come early and they want to leave early. And I in the past I have said, like, why are you leaving? Stay. They're like, Mom, we've got like a 30-45 minute drive home. I'm like, okay. And I've gotten, now I don't do that. I don't do that anymore. Like, no, I get it. Like, respect their boundaries. Everybody's got to go to work the next morning.
Right.
Everybody, and a lot of people have, anxiety, the Sunday scaries, and they want to go. They want to be able to relax at home. They don't want to leave our house after Sunday dinner and have to get ready, wash their face and go right to bed. They want to go home and they want to sit. They want to chill. They want to do their own things. They need to fill their tank before they go to bed. And
Yeah.
I have had to respect their boundaries. And I didn't think that they were being, obnoxious or bratty about it, but I just love having family around a lot of the time.
Sure.
Well, it's not always that way.
Yeah. And I also think it's like
And don't guilt them.
you're
And don't guilt them.
you're human, and I think that can be a tough ask to not defend your boundaries,
Right.
right? Like that sounds real. Like
My
it should be
girls,
easy.
I've raised my kids right because my kids have no problems with boundaries with us. Like, no, we're leaving now. I'm like, okay, okay.
Well,
okay,
but
okay.
that's defending your boundaries.
We've taught them that,
right?
Yes, we've taught them that. Right.
And that's a natural response
I'm
is
like, come
to
on,
say
just stay a
those
little
things.
longer.
Yeah.
But I don't do that anymore. They're adults and they have their own lives, and maybe I want to go back to the days of how I grew up and good old grand times at the house of 50 million kids and in-law siblings and children running around, and maybe that will be our future, but I'm trying to create that now. Well, that's me. That's Anna's fantasy. It's not theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next one, people pleasing. It is a control strategy. This is a mindset shift for all of you. People pleasing is so big for so many of us. So many of us. It's trying to manage someone else's emotions so you don't feel unsafe. Did you get that? People pleasing. You may be trying to manage someone else's emotions so you don't feel unsafe. That's you being the people pleaser, right? So I think it's important for you, when you stop people pleasing, you have to learn to sit with tolerating disappointment, your own and theirs. So you're like, I've disappointed them. Tolerate that and tolerate it within you that you're going against in a way. I'm not going to people please anymore. I'm making some changes and it feels really weird inside of me. I'm not used to it feels mean because I established a boundary here. I set the line in the sand. I'm not here to do this for them anymore. I'm not going to be the people pleaser anymore. And it can feel unsafe because safety for me has always been in making others feel okay and making them happy. What can I do you for? What can I do for you?
Yeah.
How can I make you happy? And now I'm not doing that anymore. Like the example of we're not staying at your house until 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. We have a 2-hour drive home, or we have a 45-minute drive home and we want to chill at our own place. We're not doing that, right? So people pleasing is hard for a lot of people. People pleasing is something I've had to work on too. I'm not a huge people pleaser, but it definitely is in me.
Yeah. And I think that's another word that's mysterious, right? Because like there is a world where being a people pleaser is a great thing.
Well, people pleasing is when you lose yourself to others. So,
Yeah.
like you helping somebody change a flat tire, you helping somebody, we stop, we're on the road, we're cycling, or in real life. I mean, in real life, of course, but like in a car. You and I and a bunch of us riding our bikes down the road, and you see cycling, and we're out in the middle of nowhere. Someone has a flat tire. Everyone stops. Hey, can I help you? Do you need help? You good? You good? We're checking for other people because we, in the cycling world, everybody watches out for each other. So you stop. That's not people pleasing. You're doing it because you want to help another person who we're in the middle of nowhere, especially female. Like, are you okay? Do you need help changing that tire?
Yeah.
We want to get you up and going. Right? That's not people pleasing. It's just holding the door for people, paying for somebody's coffee at the coffee shop who's behind you, or the drive through. Like, that's just being a mensch. That's just being a good person.
Well, it's being a good human.
It's just being a good, yeah, it's being a good human.
Yeah.
People pleasing is when you're doing something for somebody else and you really want to say no, but you lose yourself to others.
Yeah.
That's people pleasing. And you're people pleasing when you're like, what do I do? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I'm always, why am I, like, I'm always volunteering and I don't want to volunteer. Now it's 9:00 at night and I got to make brownies for tomorrow morning. Damn it. Why did I say I would do this? Because I'm a people pleaser and I can't say no.
Yeah.
I said I got all these committees because they asked me. Well, did you really? Did you want to be in all these committees at work? No, I don't. I have enough with this. I have this one I got to do. I have a presentation I have to give in a month, and I'm completely freaked out by it. Why'd you say you would be on 3 committees then? Because they asked me to.
Right.
And I'm a people pleaser.
Like, you can't help yourself.
I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah. So
Right.
think about it in terms of, like, in the world of work or business, like a people pleaser. This, you can talk both sides of the fence on this one. So you want a person that's a people pleaser in a customer service role, right? But not to the point where they're putting at risk the policies of the company, right? Like we're okay. Yeah, the customer, air quotes, the customer's always right. Okay. To a certain extent, yeah, not really, but to a certain extent, you want them to feel that way, right? So you got to be careful how far down that avenue you let yourself go, because at some point you're jeopardizing the policy of the entire company. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's why that word, I think, is a little. You can see it both ways, I think.
The customer's always right, but you're not going to take verbal abuse from them.
Well, no.
You don't take some emotional verbal abuse.
No.
You have to set limits and set boundaries.
Correct.
And find a way to watch the tone in your own voice, watch the delivery of the way you speak with your client.
Yeah.
In that and because they want to feel seen and heard.
Yes.
So you let them know, I see you, I hear you. And I know I've heard you. I've heard you do this before because, well, you've told me these conversations over the many, many years of working customer service, and you cannot talk to my employees that way.
Yeah.
I hear you. We're going to work on that for you. And you cannot come in here and you cannot speak like that. You can't act that way. You can't behave that way. And they listen to you because you always say they calm down, they deflate. They want to feel seen and heard.
Yeah.
So, you're not people pleasing. That's not people pleasing.
No.
I think of people pleasing, like, for me, like, I've been a people pleaser. Like, I'm seeing some additional people this week in my office, in my practice. I've added people onto my calendar, and it's actually time that I'm working on the podcast. They need it. They're needed. One is a therapy client in crisis. One is a coaching client who's got a lot going on, and we ran out of time, and we need to meet again before next week's session. And so I'm doing two sessions with 2 different types of clients this week. And do I have time? Well, the week has already gone by. So I added them in because they wanted it. I added them in on a Friday when I don't do clinical hours. Those are not. And I said yes. And I'm very clear in my mind. I'm not people pleasing. They need the work, and I'm happy to do it. So it's like, if I'm good I'm happy to see them. I'm happy to do it because we both see the need, and they're great relationships, and I want this for them, that what they're working on, and we need to work through something a little different for each person. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
I think of the years, and I'm not proud of this, the years when the kids were little. And I am that person who did sign up for too many committees. And I signed up to bring, I felt like I was baking cookies and brownies several nights during the work
your own
week.
little bakery.
It's 9:00 at night, and I'm like, I have to make brownies tomorrow morning. And I know it's out of a box and whatever, but I like to do it nice, and I add more to it. I like to zhuzh up my boundaries. Yes, I have ego around my baking because I'm a good baker. It doesn't, anyways, but it's 9:00 at night, and I'm like, and well, here's what I started doing because I'm a people pleaser. It's terrible. I started to flake on people. I would say I would do something, and then I'd flake at the last minute. I would say I'd bring something, and then I wouldn't. Or here's what I would do. I'd say I'd bring something, and they were still looking forward to Anna makes the best cookies, or she makes this great like bundt cake. And I'd go to the grocery store, I'd go to the Jewel, and I'd pick up something that was grocery store bought.
Oh,
Don't do that. I
yeah.
mean, and everyone's like, really? I mean, everybody could have stopped at the Jewel or Walmart
Sure.
and picked up a bakery thing, Anna. And that's how I started to flake and get out of it, because I was a people pleaser and I didn't know how to say no until I did learn how to say no. And then it was so liberating for me. It felt good. And I was on the hook. I was responsible for something, and I kind of weaseled my way out of it. And so when I stopped doing that, it was very clear with the people like, no, I can't do that. I can't be on that committee. No, I can't bake for that bake sale. No, I'm not available for that Girl Scout thing. I can't do it because it's Saturday or Sunday and I don't want to do it. I'm exhausted.
Right.
So stop people pleasing. And I actually helped myself. It felt unsafe in the beginning. I helped myself and I helped them. Like, okay, fine. Anna Marcolene can't do it. So we got to find somebody else. Move it on. Cause they just want someone to do the job.
Yeah. They're trying to get something.
They don't care. Like they don't care. Just say yes or no, Anna. And if no, fine. Then we'll find someone else.
Yeah.
That's how it is in personal lives and in the workplace.
Yeah.
Right.
The context of what we're talking about now is quantity, I think, right? Like, like there's people pleasing, which is all good. And then there's this people pleasing, which is like, you're trying to do too much.
Okay. We're using different words. I don't think people pleasing is all good. I don't. People pleasing, the way we're using it, the way I'm using it.
Yeah.
In more of a clinical way it's not all good.
Correct.
It's not.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on. So the next mindset shift for all of you, you probably know I'm going to say this, is you don't need motivation. We're not talking about motivation. You need better systems in your life. All right. Really, really important. So I'm not interested in your motivation. Not so much, a little bit, but not so much. I'm interested in your systems. Okay. So motivation, think of it this way. Motivation is the weather. The weather's always changing. You having a better system for how you run your life, it's the climate. You get that? So weather changes. Weather change isn't like, what is it they say in Florida and the Caribbean? Just wait, the storm comes, wait 5 minutes, the sun will be out. That's that's motivation. Your motivation changes on a dime, right? My motivation changes on a dime. Like I felt like working early this morning. Now as the day goes on, I still haven't worked out yet. And I'm like, I don't feel like it. How can I get out of it? Well, I'm not going to. I'm going to go do it, but I'm not motivated to do it.
Right.
Because I don't really feel like doing the same freaking deadlifts I do every single freaking week. I'm tired of deadlifts and I'm going to do it because I know I need to do it. Right. So your systems are what need to be in place. All right. So, make the right behavior easier than the wrong one. That's you having a good system in place. Make the right behavior easier for you than making the wrong one. Systems, systems, systems. This is really big in coaching. I help people put systems together. Okay. All right. And if you need help, you know where to find me. All right. You can be the hero of your story without being the victim of your past.
Wow.
You can be the hero of your story without being the victim of your past. Your past explains you. It doesn't get to sentence you, everybody. Okay. This is a major paradigm shift in thinking about you in your life, right? Your past. We all have a past. Okay. It explains you at that time. It explains, it ought to inform you about why you are and where you are today in this present moment. Okay. But it's not a sentence. It doesn't sentence you. You're not sentenced to this life or that life because of your past. All right. Really, really important. So what I would encourage you, the mindset shift for you is what I would encourage you is to move from, why am I like this? Why am I like this? Why am I this way? Move from that to, okay, what do I do next? This is your coaching tip. What do I do next? Move out of, why am I like this? Stop the psychoanalysis on that. Ad nauseum.
Yeah.
You have to move out of that.
You and I
What's
talk
next?
a lot about family of origin. I think this is that falls into this, right?
Yes,
You grew up and this was how it was. And I was exposed to this again and again. And that's all I knew. I mean, all the things.
So, and this is a really important distinction I want to make, because this mindset shift, this example. So the people who are in therapy with me, we are spending time, because therapy is process oriented. So they will spend time with me. Some people it's I don't have clients who stay with me for 4 weeks. I mean, my clients tend to be more long-term therapy clients, like months to years. And because they need to process, why am I like this? There's trauma going on. They've got, we're doing, they're doing inner child work. They're looking at their shadow of why they are the way they are today. They've got to look at their family of origin. They've got to look at unresolved patterns in their lives that go back to their early years. Those are my therapy clients. My coaching clients, many of them, like I've said before, they've done this work in therapy. Does it come up in my work as a coach because I'm a therapist? Of course it does. I'm going to ask about it, and they're going to talk to me about it. Like I've always said, people come to me for coaching, not for therapy. For those who want coaching, love that I'm a therapist, but they're like, I don't need to work on that. I've spent all that time processing all those feelings. I'm pretty good about it. And they need help with, but I'm in this present moment, Anna, and I need help with what do I do next with all that information. Okay.
Right.
You know my past, you know my history. I just shared it with you. And we'll take a session. We'll go through it. What do I do now?
Yeah.
So that's a really important distinction, this example here.
Totally.
Of therapy, then into coaching.
Yeah. I mean, so remember the example we shared? This was a while back. Like you take a peek in the rearview mirror, right?
Look back, but don't stare.
And then you concentrate and focus on the windshield. Right?
You look back,
yeah.
don't stare.
Yeah.
You can look in that rearview mirror. But remember, everybody, if you're driving that car, you can't stare at that rearview mirror. You have to move ahead. You will hit the car in front of you.
Right.
You glance in the rearview mirror, see what's going on. You look ahead.
Well,
hands on the wheel.
Not
move
even
forward.
that. It's like understand where you came from and why you're in the spot.
But it's a great metaphor for life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So next mindset shift is your standards. They might be perfection in a trench coat. I love this one. A tight trench coat, right? So it's great to have high standards. You know.
Say it again.
See the look on your face.
What? Say that one more time.
Your standards.
I have the vision of Hong Kong Phooey in my head right now. Go ahead.
I do too. We'll have to edit this part out. I thought of Hong Kong.
We don't have to.
I thought of Hong Kong Phooey
this
too.
It's gonna be
Hong
rolled.
Kong Phooey was a dog. Was like a hound dog.
His name was Henry.
His name was Henry, and he was a janitor in the cartoon. This is the 70s now, or the early 70s. He was a janitor at night. And then he would go, and at night when everybody was gone, he was a janitor cleaning the building. He'd jump into the filing cabinet.
File cabinet, yeah.
And come out with a Hong Kong Phooey. I don't think it's,
wow.
I think it might be like, I don't think it's a politically correct anymore. He'd come out in a Asian like karate.
Well, we had what's
Hong Kong Phooey, whatever the word.
Anyway,
whatever.
go.
Anyways,
say that one more time.
I thought the same thing, Tim. But I like it. Your standards might be perfection in a trench coat. So high standards. You having high standards in your life. I think we all need to have high standards. It's a great thing. But perfection is fear with a planner.
Okay.
Perfection, it's fear with a planner. All right. So here's the little bit of the mindset shift. You gotta aim for being effective in your life, not flawless. So basically, it's a nice way of saying we're not trying to be perfect here, right? So I mean, we want to be effective. You want to be effective at work. You want to be effective in your relationships, your personal life, your marriage, for example, but not flawless. I mean, there's no perfection here. There's no such thing as perfection. So you're not flawless. I'm not flawless. But that's the mindset shift that many people need, is because they're working towards perfection. I remember when I told a former coach of mine, a sport coach, so I won't say what sport because I've been coached in several different sports, but this is way back. And she said to me, you need to be perfect. You need to be perfect. So hard. Okay, so this is the equestrian world. It was when I was doing hunter jumping. And you need to be perfect. You need a perfect position, perfect. And I was like thinking to myself, even back then, I was like 28 years old, and I was, a therapist. And I'm like, there's no such thing as perfect. You can't be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. I'm not gonna have a perfect heel down. Perfect heel. Like I was annoyed with her, and then I didn't work with her anymore because she would scream and yell at me all the time. And I couldn't stand being screamed at like that. I'm like, geez, I'm paying you all this money. I've talked about this before on the podcast. Getting yelled at by your coaches. That personally doesn't work for me. I know that some people it may work for. It doesn't work for me. But she would talk about perfection. And I knew in my mind, because I was, learning these cognitive therapies, I was learning about mindset shifts. I'm like, there's no such thing as perfect. I'm going to do the best I can. And I worked my ass off. I'd get off my lesson. I'd be like sweating because she was screaming at me so much, and I'd be so nervous trying to be, as close as I could to perfect. But I knew there was no such thing as perfect. Okay, so watch your standards, everybody. I mean, it's okay to really aim for you to be really effective in your life, but remember, you're going to make mistakes, fail forward. There's no perfection. Okay, next one. Rest. Rest is not a reward for hard work. Rest is a requirement for all of us. Recovery. Rest and recovery is not a reward. It is a requirement, all right? If you only rest when all the work is done, you're never going to rest because the work is never done. And you're going to say that. And clients say this, well, the work is never done. Because you feel like I'm done, and then you're like, what's next? What's next? Especially with high achieving individuals, right? It's hard to rest. You have to, or you will like fry your cortisol, you will fry your nervous system. All right. So you need to schedule recovery like you schedule a workout. You got to schedule it in there. Like yesterday, Wednesday was my day off from working out. I took a day off, and I'm glad I did because I was freaking sore. I'm still sore from a really tough Monday, Tuesday strength. And I needed to rest and recover because your body needs it. And but that's changing me. I would like hammer it, go, 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 hammer it. And I would pay the price. And I paid the price in triathlon with having horrible races. And I remember one race doing an Olympic distance triathlon, getting on the swim. It was a mile swim. It's a 0.9, the Olympic distance or the international distance, 0.9, and getting on the bike, just pulling out of like the parking lot and seeing a guy who lived in my neighborhood who was training for an Ironman. And I remember him like driving. He was like, "Hey, Anna," like, "Hey," on his back down on his aero bars because he was doing one Ironman. It's all he wanted to do is one Ironman. And I was like, you and I are like training year round. Whatever. He'd been training. He was doing. I just remember being like, "Shut up!" Like, I was so mad because he drove past me on his bike and he'd say, "Hey, Anna, how you doing?" I'm like, "Get out of here. I feel awful. Leave me. Just go ahead. Pass. I don't want to talk to you right now," because I had blew my wad. I was
on the swim.
I blew my wad in training. You and I were training.
Okay.
We were also training for an Ironman.
You were overtrained.
I was completely overtrained.
Yeah, okay.
You were training for an Ironman.
Yeah.
And I should not have been doing that race.
Right.
I had no business racing on that Sunday in June when I should have been taken as a recovery day. But there I am.
Yeah.
Not knowing better at that time in my life. And I was overtrained and I needed to recover. And I had a terrible race. I wanted everything in me to stop. And I think I had to walk I walked in the run. I couldn't do it.
Right.
Big lesson, and stands out in my mind. That was like 20 plus years ago.
I think this one, this one you can shout probably.
And mental rest is important too, everybody. Not just physical. I'm talking about mental.
Yeah.
That's the most important piece of all this is the mental rest.
So I think this one you need to shout from the mountaintops a little bit louder because this one in the world of fitness, most people do think of it as a reward. Work hard and now my reward is a moment of rest. Not understanding that it's a requirement that you do rest so that you can do that again. And then you can do it again.
I agree.
That's commonplace.
I agree. And I think also when we work hard, we fry ourselves and we don't get, so physically, if you're working really, really hard, you're like blowing your wad or you're frying yourself, you're hitting a wall or you're bonking, all the terms we use. What happens is sleep gets interrupted, everything. And what I also see is that we tend to not eat enough, especially women don't eat enough going into these hard workouts. And then we completely binge later. And we binge on things that we wouldn't normally binge on. And then we get upset with her. It's this feedback loop. And then we get upset with ourselves because we just mowed on Doritos dipped in ranch dressing. Or, we just sat there and we didn't sit down. We're leaning up against the kitchen counter and we're just inhaling whatever we can get our hands on. And usually it's crappy, processed, carby foods that normally we probably wouldn't eat. but we didn't eat enough and we're tired and we overdid it. So take that and use that in your life. We're talking about physicality of fitness right now, but you could take that in any area of your life.
Well, that's a great point too. The world of nutrition,
Yeah.
right? You're like, oh, I worked out really hard today.
So I can eat
or
whatever I want.
I
and you
didn't have
can't.
breakfast today. Like I've justified in my own mind, like what I'm about to do next. That's
Yes.
commonplace too.
Yes. I've done it. How many times have we been there?
Of course.
We've done it.
We've
right?
all done it. Yeah.
Okay. So rest is a requirement, and it's the ripple effect of so many different areas of our lives. All right. Okay. The next mindset shift is self-trust. Self-trust is built in the tiny moments. Okay. So big breakthroughs for most of us are rare. And this is a hard one, I think, for me to get my head around a little bit. So, you have that big breakthrough. You have that big mental download. The download comes and you write it all down. You've got all these great ideas. No, that's not how it works for most of us. It's putting in the reps. I think about sport. It's showing up to the gym, going outside, putting on your shoes, walking when you don't feel like it. It's whatever it is. It's working on your speech. It's for me working on the podcast, the content for the podcast. For any of you, what you have going in your life. I mean, think of it. It's any of the goals that you've set for your life. You think you could have this big breakthrough. It's not. It's the little details. And that's your integrity. It's showing up, putting in the reps. It's like micro integrity. That's daily. That's every single day.
Yeah.
Showing up, doing the reps, and that's like little micro integrities.
Yeah.
But it's you being integrous. I don't know if that's a word, integrous in your life. But
Yeah.
just for you all to know that big breakthroughs are rare for most people.
Well, that's fantasy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
you have a big breakthrough and all of a sudden you're going to, money's coming in 2026. I hear that a lot with the astrology and the psychic world. Like, this is what's happening for you. I'm like, okay. Or manifestation. I did a whole thing on manifestation.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, but you need to put in the reps every day and work really hard. You could manifest it. You need to work hard too. It's usually not some big, all of a sudden, there's all these checks that came in the mail. No. Okay. Well, what did you do to get those checks? You worked hard for that.
Right. And it's not impossible, right?
It's not impossible.
That a big break comes your way.
It's not at all
But
impossible.
it's not likely.
But pick one promise. So you want that big thing to happen. It can absolutely happen for you.
Yeah.
Mindset shift in thinking. It happen for you. But pick one rep you're going to do today to get to that.
Right.
So that you do have all the money coming in.
But that's the miss, though, is that you think that it's magic,
Yeah.
right? And that big break's going to come to you through the back door, and you don't really have to do much to kind of make that go, right?
Well, that's that whole episode.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
manifestation,
yeah.
Right. Okay. So, little steps forward every day, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Or I think of the tortoise and the hare. We're not the hare running to the finish line, like sitting there picking your teeth. Because the hare took the break through the course because he's like, the turtle's going to take forever to get here. So the hare took the break.
I've always had trouble with that one.
The rabbit, the hare took the
Yeah.
break. It was like, you see that. I remember the little children's book. He was sitting there with his legs crossed, standing there, like picking his teeth with a piece of grass, and the tortoise, and he got distracted, didn't he? Something happened. I forget what happened. He got distracted. He
Yeah.
got busy doing other stuff. The tortoise passed him, and the tortoise won the race. There you go, everyone. We don't want to be the hare. We're the tortoise. It's a small steps every day forward. All
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right. So next mindset shift. This is really big. This is big for me. This resonated and still resonates a lot for me today, is you're not behind. You're not behind. You might be overloaded. And especially for people who have got a lot going on or are very busy, and we want to achieve lots of things in our lives, we can feel like we're behind. All right. So this can be shame for some people. It can be deep inside. I don't feel as shameful about this, although this does resonate for me. But a lot of shame is actually, for many people, nervous system fatigue, right? And you just have too many open loops. So you and I have had so many conversations about this. And this is something I'm fixing in 2026, because in 2025, I had way too many open loops, and my nervous system got fried. And I did feel shame about it, but I didn't understand what was going on or why I couldn't achieve the things I wanted to achieve in 2025. Well, I was just burnt out, to say the least, as I'm sitting in a restaurant in Canada with my sister, literally losing it at the bar area in front of all these people because I was so burnt out and could not figure it out. So, but I wasn't behind. I was right where I needed to be. And I am right where I need to be in my life, but I was overloaded.
Yeah.
So, reduce load, everybody. And I'm saying this to myself as much as all of you. Reduce your load before you start judging your capacity. All right. For many of us, we have this great capacity to do great things, more things than maybe we're doing in our life right now, but you've got to reduce your load. You got to do things one at a time, like the turtle, one step at a time. All right. So remember, you're not behind, but you might be overloaded.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you kind of are behind also, right? Because like,
Thanks, Tim.
well, not you. I'm not speaking to you right
think
now.
you actually are
just
behind.
Just in general. No, I mean, you kind of are behind because if you're overloaded, you've paralyzed yourself to not really doing anything.
Well,
Right?
I'm always trying to find that right step. I'm
Yeah.
trying to always be in step. I don't want to be behind. I don't want to be ahead of myself. And I've tried to get ahead of myself, and that didn't work. That came and smacked me in the face.
Right.
I don't want to be behind. I want to maybe be behind, but I want to be in right step with myself, with what it is I set out to do. And that's strategy, and that's your systems, and those are your goals.
Right.
And work the system you have set for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is a big one. Next mindset shift. You can love someone and still choose yourself. Okay. So you can love somebody. Love does not require that you abandon who you are. Love does not require self-abandonment. That's not what love is about. That's really, the most famous Corinthians. What you could quote Corinthians.
1 Corinthians 13.
1 Corinthians 13. You know that about love. What is love?
Totally.
Love is this. Love is laugh. Love is this.
Love
is
is
that.
faithful.
From the New
Love,
Testament.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Love
yeah.
is kind.
Yeah.
Love is not jealous. All those things. You can love yourself, and we ought to all be loving ourselves, but without self-abandoning. Okay. So stop confusing loyalty with self-erasure, like erase yourself. Stop confusing loyalty to somebody with, well, I have to erase myself. And some of you are doing that. All right. Get clear on that.
Yeah.
I want you to really get clear on that. You can love yourself and not abandon yourself. You can love others and not wipe yourself out. Like you become invisible to please them.
Yeah.
This is all kind of coming and tying together about people pleasing.
Yeah.
And
you're
boundaries.
saying they can coexist. These two things can coexist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can love other people and still choose yourself.
Yeah.
They both exist together. Okay. And the final one, stop negotiating with a version of yourself that wants comfort. This is big. Stop negotiating with a version of you that wants that comfort. All right. Your future self is not built by the mood you're in right now. And this is all to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Right? You decide once what you're going to do, then execute it like it's your policy. Okay. So execute, take action. All right. Coaching y'all up here. Decide it once, then execute. Like it's your office policy, it's your home policy, it's your personal policy.
Yeah.
Okay?
This one kind of sprinkles itself in a way on many of the prior ones, right?
Some of them, they kind of bleed into one another.
Yeah. But this one particularly, I think.
Well, those are 14 mindset shifts, everyone. I mean, they're big ones. And they're big ones that I think most of you could find. I think almost all of you can find at least one that resonates for you, that it would, behoove you to think differently about how you think and how you're living in your head. Okay. Next week, we're going to do even more of the power moves. Okay. This is for emotional mastery, and we're going to do some relationship specific power moves too in mindset shifting. Okay. Because I think that's something we always want to know about, how we can shift our mindset really about the relationships in our lives, the people, our work wives, our work husbands, but really our real life partners and kids and family members and extended family members, friends and neighbors. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Before we go.
Yep.
Can we get your official Super Bowl pick?
Seattle.
Seattle.
So by the time you hear this, it'll be over. By the time this isn't going, by the time I don't know when this one's going up. By the time you hear this, it will not be before the Super Bowl. So I'm saying Seattle because, no offense, love Boston. I have friends who are Patriots, but I'm sorry. I really don't care to have the Patriots at the Super Bowl again. But they're a great team. And obviously they're back without Tom Brady. So kudos to them. I just would like to see Seattle win.
Okay.
What about you?
I mean, I have to say Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, New England.
Oh, because you're a Dolphins fan.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be like you saying, like, oh, I'm going to take Philly. Like, you'd never, those words don't come out of your mouth.
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Dallas.
Never take
You'd be like,
Dallas.
what?
No. All right, everyone. Mad love. Thank you for listening. If you've listened this far, please don't forget to rate, review, 5 stars. And we'll see you next time with part 2 of this on Mindset.